Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast brought to you by Affable Idiots. I am one of your hosts. I'm going to center myself in this frame. There we go. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Michael Chalupa Innes. We like to play fun games here. And by play fun games, I mean take you for a loop. This loop comes to you by way of the man, the myth, the legend, Matthias Kozina. How are you, Matthias?
I'm doing so well this evening, Chad.
Thank you, Alexa.
What the fuck? Matthias, not something that's actually written on my current passport, but it was on my birth certificate. Don't really use it a whole lot nowadays. My grandfather from old Slovenia was named Matthias, which is why I'm named Matthias as well. This podcast, it's really popping off, but it could pop a little bit more with a popper, baby. Yeah.
Y'all, that is a reference to our most recent Rafter Dark episode, which is your monthly episode as a patron over at patreon.com/respawnaimfire. And it is maybe my favorite, most fun content that we do now is Rafter Dark. So go learn all about poppers on Rafter Dark, as well as Joel's opinions on how many weddings is too many weddings. If you are not a patron at patreon.com/respawnaimfire and you hate us and you just want to listen to us for free and just milk us till we are dry, dusty old men, you can go watch this on March 1st. Sorry, nope. It is March now. April 1st. Not an April Fool, but you can watch that whenever the rest of the world gets it. But you can go watch it now if you want to be part of the conversation when it's cool. Speaking of cool, we've got the coolest kid around, Adam, not Matthias, but what is your middle name, Gumbert?
Yeah, we have the same middle name already. That's why
it's so Michael. Cool. That's right.
I am eating a no-bake cookie right now, so you caught me at a bad time.
Fuck yeah, no-bake cookies. God, I miss cookies, especially no-bake cookies.
All I gotta do is go run afterwards or go walk up a hill all day or some shit like I did.
Yeah, you're right. Or I could just stay at home and play Destiny. And then I don't have to eat cookies because I can't burn any calories playing Destiny. So we also got our ones and twos producer over here, Joel Edward Campos.
Yes.
Joel, what's your middle name? Edward?
I want you to guess.
Alejandro. I said Edward. That was my guess. Alejandro.
Alejandro is my brother's name.
Is it Eduardo?
Is it Tyrannosaurus?
Here's the thing. About...
Is it Piplup?
What?
Is it Michaela?
Piplup. Is it Piplup?
Here's the thing about Mexican people. All right, we either have no middle names or we have three middle names, and I have no middle name.
Interesting. I know a couple kids like that didn't have middle names.
It's wild that the U.S. didn't force you to have a middle name. When people came through the frickin' whatever the fuck you call it when you come to New York City as an immigrant and you do things and they're
Ellis
like,
Island.
hey, what's your last name? Yeah, Ellis Island, thank you. Like, what's your last name? And then they say something not in English and we are ignorant and they're like, cool, I don't understand what that is, so we're going to call you NLN, which stands for no last name. So there are a lot of people who have the last name NLN because we're ignorant, stupid Americans.
Crazy is when Mexicans come to the States, they also have to go all the way to Ellis Island.
You gotta go all the way up to New York and then come back down to Texas, That's crazy.
All right, that's it, folks. We're done. Thank you so much for listening.
Done for the day.
You can catch us next week and most weeks, twitch.tv/Affable Idiots on Monday evenings at around 8:30 Eastern time. We're a little early this time. You're welcome. If you're frustrated because you didn't get here early enough to hear all of this, well, early is on time and on time is late, so that's your fault. YouTube and podcast services are where you can catch us late at 9 a.m. Eastern time as well, as long as I remembered to upload the podcast after I've edited it. If not, you'll get it later. Housekeeping. We have a new barf game for the month of March, and I think this is the first time this has ever happened for the March barf poll. Third month. I asked you to pick from 4 PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 shooters.
3.
And you all chose 4 games in a 4-way tie. So I made the executive decision to pick the one that was most accessible, and that is Crysis. We are playing Crysis, Crysis. It is currently on sale for like $7.50 for the next like 3 days. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday morning, maybe you can get it on PSN. It's also on Game Pass. The Xbox 360 version is, if you're playing that on Xbox. And it's probably, I don't know, like $1.40 on Steam, because that's the price of everything on Steam. So yes, we're playing Crysis. Play that along with us in March. Talk about it with us at the end of the month. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you also have access to Rafter Dark, episode 2. Everyone who's not a patron, if you're like, oh, what is all this Rafter Dark talk? What are poppers? What is this wedding talk? You can go get an idea of how a Rafter Dark discussion goes with Rafter Dark 1, which is now available to everyone who wants to milk us. So you can go to youtube.com/@respawnAimFire. Or I don't know why that just like makes me want to throw up a little bit when I watch both of you pretend to milk something. Yeah, you can go watch that and learn all about why Cozy's dad sucks in one very particular way.
Real quick, to just go back to the Crysis of it all, I'm actually pretty looking forward to this, because back in the day, I actually wrote an entire video essay on the entire Crysis series. This is not my first go around with the Crysis games. I already played through all 3 games, but last time I played Crysis 1, I played it on PC. I never played either of the console ports of the original Crysis, so I'm excited to check out Crysis Remastered and see how I feel about it now versus how I felt about it back in the day. And that's all I'll say on the matter for now.
My knowledge of Crysis, I have two touchstones for Crysis as a franchise. One, it's like, for some reason, the benchmark that people used to use for like PC, like, oh man, you got a new graphics card? Let's see how well it can run Crysis and how beautiful it can look. And nowadays we do that with, I don't know, Cyberpunk? Is that the new thing? Yeah, the second thing is Crysis 3 came out in the year of the bow. I'm pretty sure it was the same year that we had like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with the bow. We had Horizon Zero Dawn with a bow. We had, I don't know, Tomb Raider with a bow. There was a bunch of stuff with a bow.
Crysis 3 came out way earlier. Crysis 3 came out in 2013. Really? Yeah.
It was in 2013. A lot of bows. It came out in 2013, but then also the first Tomb Raider was out in 2013.
Right. That's probably what you're thinking.
Something else.
That's not Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. So it was the year of the bow back then. All that hair physics on that. I'm so glad Tomb Raider got the hair physics in 2014. All right, folks, let's jump into the real conversation here. We're talking about sand. It gets everywhere. I hate sand. Sand is on a beach, and so is Death Stranding 2. Going to the beach this summer, says Wesley Inpool at IGN. Death Stranding 2 launches on June 26, 2025, exclusively on PlayStation 5. Hideo Kojima took to the stage at South by Southwest 2025 to reveal an epic new trailer for Death Stranding 2 on the beach, as well as confirm the release date. The 10-minute long video includes... We need to tell him what a trailer is. 10 minutes is not... That's a short film. That's not a trailer. The 10-minute long video includes various cinematics, gameplay clips, and a close look at a character who many are saying looks a lot like Snake from Metal Gear, but is definitely not Snake from Metal Gear.
There's no resemblance, none whatsoever.
In a further confirmation of this is not Snake from Metal Gear, we see Magellan Man, a huge tar-like creature fused with the DHV Magellan that looks a bit like Metal Gear Rex, but is definitely not Metal Gear Rex from Metal Gear. The Magellan Man appears to be operated like a Pacific Rim-style mech and faces off against enormous and very creepy tar monsters. The Death Stranding 2 carries the tagline, should we have connected? Let me tell you, this Magellan Man statue with the little tar all over it, operating it like that little fucking creature, the statue in the collector's edition looks so fucking cool. Part of me wants to just buy that statue or buy the collector's edition, throw all the other stuff in the trash and keep that statue, even though I probably won't play through this game.
When we got the trailer for Death Stranding 2 early last year, I was like, this trailer is absolutely fantastic. I don't know if this trailer can be topped. And I think that the trailer that we got this past weekend... You're talking about the one with the guitar and
the Puppet Man and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, all that stuff. The trailer we got this past weekend might somehow be better than it. It could just be the recency bias tickling my brain, but I love this trailer. I'm so very excited for this. I'm very down right now to give the original Death Stranding a second go. I never played any of the content in the remastered version, which seems like it might be somewhat important to what's going on in this game. And so, yeah, I am all for this. And man, when you get to the end of the trailer, yeah, there was a remastered version.
Director's cut.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gave a little bit of extra content, optimized it for PS5, I think, maybe did some frame rate stuff. Or
it wasn't really a remaster, though.
In traditional Kojima fashion, I just love that this trailer, like, it just keeps escalating and escalating in terms of how insane it is. You get halfway through and you're like, man, certainly we have seen everything this trailer has to offer. And then it's just one by one, bam, 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 all the characters. And you have Shiole Kutsuna has been cast as Rainey. You have Tarman, who's George Miller. You have Dollman. You have Deadman, Heartman. All the mans are back in this one. Oh, man, I'm so excited. Adam, how excited are you?
Not.
What can make you
Joel's
excited?
Showing us is the first I've watched the trailer. It was like, 10-minute trailer for a game I don't give a shit about? No, thank you. I do like the statue. I'll give it to him. I like this Magellan Man. Venom is a big mech. I like that idea.
Venom.
That's about all I can say positive about this video game.
Honestly, I wish that Venom 3 had culminated in them fighting in giant Venom mechs. That would have been great.
That'd been cool.
Instead, Venom 3 just had a dance sequence to Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Which was also very good, Joe, Chad. You could agree. It was also very good. But yeah.
Yeah, cool. This game.
Also, I'm really shocked about the date. That's my number one thing.
Yeah?
We're not going to get to it, but I made the... I don't think anyone has on Fantasy Critic. I'm not sure.
Do you think anyone has this on the Fantasy Critic?
I think we were... I mean, I think we were all a little bit concerned of like, will this game absolutely show up earlier?
I didn't think it was coming out this year at all. Period.
Right.
I made a bet at the beginning of the year it's not coming out this year.
Because there were those comments that were given late last year where it was suggested that like a lot of work was still yet to be done on this game. But yeah, it turns out it's pretty far along, as we now know.
Gotcha.
Also announced a live,
Matt has it in our other one. What about the orchestra? They
announced like a live orchestra tour for the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're coming to Montreal as well. I got a little bit disappointed because one of my friends who lives in New York is a huge fan of Death Stranding. And I was like, oh man, you should totally come to Montreal so you can... Oh no, wait, it's playing in New Jersey. You're not going to come to Montreal just to see this concert, unfortunately. But I very likely will probably go to that concert actually, because the music in these games has been top notch. Even if you don't particularly understand what's going on, these games are always a bop to listen to. And so that's pretty exciting.
I want some way to watch and consume all of the interesting things about this game without playing the game itself.
So
that's what I really want.
I totally sympathize with you wanting to do that, Chad, but I have to ask, like, how long, if you were to watch like a compilation video on YouTube summarizing the story, compilation on YouTube, summarizing the story and the relevant points of Death Stranding 1, how long would you want it to be? Like, what is your absolute limit for how long?
That's the thing too, is I don't want it to be a summary because I actually want to watch all of it play out. I just don't want to fucking build rope bridges and walk with mechanical legs and punch people in the back of the head.
There's a thing called Twitch.tv where you can find somebody playing this game.
There she is tomorrow by Elle Fanning, Rainey, the President, Lucy, Charlie.
If anyone knows of like a good stream of a Death Stranding playthrough where I don't have to talk or listen to somebody talk over their game or see their face, let me know.
Adam, Deborah Wilson? Can you not love this? Yeah, she has 2 right hands. Because there's this whole thing where
her name is like Handman or something like that.
No, she's Doctor. Her name is Doctor.
Dr. Handman.
Maybe she's a doctor.
Is her name just Doctor? It's just Doctor?
It just showed Doctor on screen.
Oh, such excellent writing. Oh my God, it's so good.
Incredible. But
visionary.
You see, Adam, it is excellent because there's this whole thing in the original Death Stranding about chirality, about how you have things like your hands that are like mirror images of each other. They're not perfectly symmetrical.
Oh, and so my God, I'm so fucking smart.
She bucks the trend because she has 2 right hands.
God, look,
and that gives her an inherent advantage within the film.
I read this in a book. Oh, I'm so smart for regurgitating it on the screen. Oh,
and doctorism. Doctorism
so
is a word.
Kojima.
It is smart. Look. Check it out, Adam. They're doing so much kissing right now. That's smart.
Are we not done yet? Are we still talking about this fucking?
No, we're gonna watch the whole trailer.
I mean, we're only
we still got
into the trailer.
At least looking.
I know. Good lord.
If you want to,
that's it. Yeah, Death Stranding 2 coming out this summer.
If you want to scroll ahead, Joel, I don't mind, but it's up to you.
I mean, we're already seating title, man. Look at this, Norman Reedus.
How is the title screen like letting us know where 2.5 minutes from the video?
Plugged in.
The title screen is 2.5 minutes from this trailer.
Adam, check it out. They're going to space. Or not.
Maybe they're
like just that reminds me of
you
flying
like data
slightly
centers?
above the water. And there you go. All the big dudes are rising out of the water.
What we want here.
They're becoming a
great
bunch of
audio
Batman.
content. Hey, anything else left to say about Death Stranding 2?
No, I'm just repeating pretty much everything it says in the trailer at this point. Oh, here we go. Adam, I know you don't. No, you skipped over the good part. Go back.
HTC Vive?
Go back more. Back more.
Yeah, I know the part where he looks like Snake and then turns into a skeleton and then turns into Snake
Adam,
again.
If you don't like Death Stranding, maybe there's another franchise represented in this trailer in just a moment that will make you appreciate it.
I love the part where he turns to a skeleton because that'll be me whenever this conversation is over and I can just die and get out of this conversation. That'll be
it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You loved the Indiana Jones game.
I do like Raiders of the Lost
Ark. That's based off of a franchise where a man melted and became a skeleton.
Right here, this looks like a trailer for Black Ops Zombies. Like an expansion pack.
Yeah.
Guys, what if they introduce a new NPC in Death Stranding 3 called Indiana Jones? So it's like Indiana Jones, but without the S at the end.
What if it's Joan, and it's Joan Cusack, and she's playing her character from School of Rock, the principal from School of Rock.
I was going to say, what if it's
but
like
voiced
Joan
by
of
Jack
Arc?
Black?
What if it's like Joan of Arc and it's about them revolting against the system that they've created for themselves by connecting everything?
What if it's Joan of Arc and then you rearrange the letters and it's Joanna Dark and this game is actually Perfect Dark?
Holy shit.
They pull a Phantom Pain on us.
What was that other studio that was purporting to be Hideo Kojima in disguise? You know, the one
that, like Blue
like
Bug
a couple
Studio
years ago.
or Bugsy or Bugs Bunny Studio, something with a B and Bugs and Blue or something like Bluebird.
We were all distracted and we thought, oh, that's this like secret Kojima studio that's making some sort of secret Kojima project. But actually,
Kojima was maybe making
was working
Kojima
on Perfect Dark
game,
all along.
But
it's all connected. It's all connected. Just like how we shouldn't have connected.
Theory.
Guys, this goes deep.
But
Adam,
turns out
so much for you to chew on in this game.
This may be the worst podcast we've ever done in the history of podcasting. It's so bad.
Yeah, Google didn't get me that one.
The game is called Abandoned. I don't remember the name.
Right, that's it.
Abandoned. Yeah, Abandoned game.
Yeah, that's how you knew that it wasn't from Hideo Kojima because it was called Abandoned and not Abandoned Man.
Blue Box is the name of the studio.
Again, it was called Blue Box, but not Blue Box Man.
Blue Box.
All right, there's a lot of crosstalk. Let's move on.
Let's move on to playtime. We're done. Playtime. Let's go. Joel and I played Split Fiction. That's right, the new Hazelight game from Game of the Year studio. Hazelight is the studio. They made Game of the Year. It Takes Two a few years ago that won the Game Awards. They also made Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. And they also made... what was the other one between those two games? A Way Out. Thank you. So Joel and I have been playing Split Fiction, which is their new game. One of you is a lady who really likes sci-fi. One of you is a lady who really likes fantasy. And they get together and they make Reese's Cups. And we... what have we played? Probably like 4 hours? 3.5, 4 hours, Joel, of this game?
Yes. Something like that.
Yeah. For anyone who's playing at home and you like are interested, hey, where'd you get to? Ice King. We'll just say Ice King is the last thing that we did.
My boy.
Very, very into this game so far. I feel like there have been a lot of moments where we've just been like, oh, that's so fucking cool, or oh my god, that's so funny, or oh my god, that's very into this game. A lot of the criticism I've heard of it have been around the story, but I'll be honest, I don't give a fuck about the story right now. So I guess it's apt criticism. But the gameplay, it feels right now like they took every single game and just like, cool, how do we replicate this and copy paste these ladies into it in a way that requires 2 people co-op? Like there's been Donkey Kong Country gameplay so far. There's been that's it. That's all I can think of. Joel,
like
what are some other games?
There's like rhythm aspect to it. Like Simon Says, there was a mission where I told Chad, I was like, this is literally like driving the Scarab in Halo. There's just like, I don't know, there's just so much going on, and we're like maybe a third of the way through the game, maybe a little more than a third. Maybe. I don't know.
I think less than a third.
But yeah, the story, like Chad said, I don't really care about the story. We kind of know how it's gonna end, right? The overarching story of this world, I guess. It's more so like the level to level like story that I care about, right? Like the story within the story, right? Because each level you're going in and you're replaying more or less a chapter or something that one of these 2 characters has written in their past, whether it's part of like a, this book that they're trying to publish, or like one of the side stories was like, oh yeah, this is something I wrote when I was like 8 years old as a little girl, and we were just these 2 pigs running around a land, and this door just kept saying, and to open this door, you need to feed me 2 apples. And then that's all we heard for like 40 minutes was just these doors saying like, I need apples. And then we brought apples to like a door in another room. And he's like, how did you know I like apples? I don't know. It's like a lot of stupid stuff like that. But yeah, like each level just has some hilarious stuff. Like there's a whole mini game that Chad had to do while I was riding a motorcycle. He was on the back of the motorcycle. His whole mini game was like unlocking a phone essentially, but to do so he had to sign in, but to sign in he had to accept the terms of service. He had to like click through the terms of service.
There was a bunch of CAPTCHA things.
Yeah,
I had to like click out all the pictures of trucks and all of that kind of stuff. All while there's like a countdown to this bomb exploding, and I have to like do all this stupid shit on it.
Oh shit!
The whole time
I found out we failed that, and you can successfully do that.
For real?
Yeah.
I feel like our timer didn't even get to 0 though. Like I feel like it ended and switched to a cutscene at like 10 seconds left. So
what happens when you fail the CAPTCHA?
Do you die?
Well, we got through enough, I guess.
Okay.
I think I was putting in a code. I had to like, it texted me a verification code, and I was like putting in the code on the keyboard, and I hit the last letter, and it also happened to go to a cutscene at the same time. So
yeah, it's chaotic because like as Chad's doing it, like somebody's trying to call his phone. He has to hit decline the call. Like it's just as chaotic as it could be. But yeah,
it's fantastic. This game is so much fun.
It is great.
It's also a little bit more difficult, like from like actual gameplay perspective than some of the other games have been. So I don't know if it's going to be as accessible to casual players. In fact, that's one of the reasons why Joel and I are playing, because he's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with my wife. So you want to play this? And I was like, yeah, I'll be your wife for a little bit. You can call me Elise. That's fine. And so yeah, it's a little bit more difficult.
The weird thing is Chad's been wearing a wig, even though like we can't see each other.
He didn't know this, but I've had ever since the day that I saw what his wife looked like. I've had a wig now that resembles her. I'm just waiting for that opportunity to wear it, and it did not disappoint. Yeah, having a ton of fun with this one. And what else did I play? I played Destiny. Cool. Surprise. Did a bunch of Trials of Osiris. Reset my rank at
question.
Fucking Saint. So what's up?
Amazing.
Just Destiny. Because you guys both played It Takes Two. Do you guys like Split Fiction so far more than that one? Or is it about the same? How do you feel? Do you feel there's improvements from their Game of the Year winning game, or no?
I personally think Split Fiction's better, but that's just because I'm more interested in the worlds that we're playing in than for It Takes Two. Like, I thought It Takes Two was great. It's
definitely a lot flashier.
Yeah. It looks... I don't want to say more polished, but it like there have been so many times when me and Chad have been in a mission where it's like, this looks so fucking cool. Like whether it's like the building we're in or like the skybox behind us, like everything just looks great in this game.
Yeah. I'd say it's a lot more impressive of a game. I think the first one was like It Takes Two was really like, all these puzzles are really unique and really like creative. But then this is, hey, let's take those and build them around a ton of really awesome, like jaw-dropping cutscenes, and I'm sorry, not cutscenes, set pieces, and really just like impressive visuals. So yeah, I think this one so far is definitely more learning. I think I don't love these characters. There were definitely some moments in It Takes Two I was like, God, that fucking book is back on the screen again. But also, I kind of missed him a little bit, and so a little book of love. And so I was a little bit interested in like, all right, how are they going to get through this one? How are we going to end up winning over their daughter and getting them back together? I was like a little bit interested in that. Whereas this, I'm just like, I don't care about either of these two people. I just want to see them turn into weird axolotls and fucking Groots. That's what I want.
So if you didn't know, like the whole premise of this is your two characters are trying to sign a book deal, right, to get published. And you go to this like big corporation that says that they're going to do that. And it's like you two, and then there's 4 other writers. But we don't see anything of the 4 other writers, at least not yet. I doubt we will. I don't know. But anyway, you go into these like pods, and your two characters end up in the same pod. For one reason or another. But I told Chad right away, I was like, all right, one of these writers is bound to have been super into like writing real freaky 50 Shades of Grey shit. And like they're in this world right now, living their like deepest, darkest fantasies in this crazy bubble. So yeah, I want to play that game.
That's it. Sounds like something I could get into, you know?
This probably exists on Steam somewhere. All right, tell me about, Adam, what all these W's are.
All right, yeah, I'll get to it since it's entitled. The first game is Wanderstop. Correct? I said it the right way. Thank you, Joel's bringing it up. So Wanderstop, I got a code for review. I am about 4 hours through it. I believe it's about 8 or 9 hours. And Wanderstop is, it's a game. I talked about it a couple weeks ago, but now I've got the full. Oh, yeah, shout out to Ivy Road for providing the code. And again, it's a game where you are this fighter named Alta who loses a fight. Her whole life's journey has been be the best fighter ever, don't get beaten, and then she starts getting beat over and over again. She's like, all right, well, I have nothing else going on, so I got to train and get better. She goes out into the woods to find someone to train her, and she passes out and literally can't lift up her sword because her burden has become too heavy. And then you hang out with this big old bald man named Boro, and he's like, hey, stay here and run the tea shop with me. And the game is, again, sort of like a cozy sim kind of or whatever game where it's like, oh yeah, you get the tea leaves and then you get the fruits to flavor the teas and all that stuff is fine and cool, but like it's interesting to put that in a game which is not about that at all. Like it's a cozy game that's about like there's no stress in this game at all. Like we're not actually worrying about running the shop. Like people don't get mad if you don't bring them their tea. It doesn't matter how much money you make. None of that matters. Is entirely a game about like how do you deal with burnout and how do you deal with pushing yourself too hard and like taking a second to like calm down and actually like enjoy your life instead of just pushing and pushing and pushing to like be the best or be whatever. And it's so funny because it's like, a lot of content creators get this game, to review it, and the game just starts out immediately. It's like, oh, Alta's pushing herself too hard. Oh, she's got to keep doing it because she's got to be the best. She can never stop because then, she'll fall behind and everything. And then the game's like, slow down and like, don't do that for once. It's interesting because Ivy wrote, I believe one of the people over there is one of the people who made the Stanley Parable. And after he made the Stanley Parable, he was like, the next game I'm going to make is about burnout because that game burned me the fuck out. And like, I couldn't, this is just according to the Wikipedia. I haven't like gone into the interview or anything. And it's like, yeah, this game, every turn is just like, yeah, this is a fun, cool game. Don't stress out about it at all. And Alta's fighting it every chance she gets to be like, but I've got to serve tea the best. I have to be the best person who makes teas. And it's just like, you got to chill and relax. So it's a very interesting game where, yes, it's about slowing down and taking your time. And it's trying to teach you like, hey, chill out, bro. Don't burn yourself out and don't, put yourself in the grave early by stressing out. But I love the music. The characters are great. All the characters you meet are super fun and super well written and everything's colorful. But it is just a game about like, don't stress out about the video game. Just like take your time and enjoy playing the video game. Don't worry about the objectives. Don't freak yourself out and relax. It's a game very much like, hey, stop fucking around. you person playing the video game who's stressed out about life. Excellent video game.
Love that message.
And I'm gonna keep playing it and finish it out. Again, I'm about halfway through, but I'm like, yeah, this is a good message, and the game is fun to play. So it's like, yeah, this is literally just chill out and have fun.
I read a couple of reviews for this game, and I think that the thing that surprises me about this game is that it seems like there's no kind of like incredibly dark twist. Obviously, this game is dealing with some, deep and serious subject matter, but I feel like early trailers for this game suggested that there was going to be some sort of like turn where the game really goes into a path that is not at all the kind of cozy game aesthetic that it presents itself as being, but it seems instead what you're kind of implying is that it really is, it's sort of right up front about what it's about, and there's no real twist. Instead, it just keeps reinforcing that message, which is that you should just...
There are mysteries, you're like, oh yeah, no, there are definitely mysteries, like, what's going on? There's something kind of here, but the real, I mean, it's funny to say the real enemy of this game is like self-doubt and like, burning yourself out and trying like entirely too hard. So yeah, the real evil was you all along.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was like, there's got to be some, especially from the Stanley Parable guy, there's something crazy here. And it's like, there's sort of a thing here, but the thing is that really just like, you need to see that that the problems are you, and you need to relax, and not everything has to be solved in the most efficient, crazy manner of all time. You're allowed to enjoy your life. So no, again, I haven't finished it out, and there's still some stuff going on, but very cool. And again, very pointed game if you're that kind of a person, I think. So, and yeah, I think reviews are in the 80s or something like that, which is like, yeah, that sounds perfect to me. So yeah, Wanderstop, I will continue and finish it, but it was very good, very fun, especially at this time of year, because I know normally for me in November, December, I try to play so much stuff for our game of the year, and then like the beginning of the next year, I don't want to play anything at all. And it's like, oh, cool. Thanks. You get it. This is awesome. But yeah, that's Wanderstop. That's my first impressions. I want to call it a full review because I haven't finished it, but very positive, and everyone online seems to be getting the message, enjoying it. And my other thing on my list, Joel, you're going to be excited here. I got WWE 2K25. I enjoy the wrestling, man, right? But I haven't played one of these games, I think, since 22. Because I'm not one of those people who goes out and gets a sports game every single year and just plays it every year, right? But basically in 2020, they made a really, really bad one. And then they took a year off and they came out with 22. And it was like, okay, you guys actually made a good video game now. And now I've played it 3 years later. And unlike a lot of annualized games, like from everything I've seen online and everything that I'm playing, it's like, oh, they actually like make these games better every year. And this game is excellent. There's so much stuff to do, and none of it is boring. Because like a lot of games, it's like, oh, this year the franchise mode added one feature or whatever. But to me, there are multiple modes. There feels like endless stuff to do. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Every wrestler, there's like 300 plus wrestlers in the game. And I'm having the most fun I've ever had. I definitely ponied up to get the early version. I was like, I don't care. That's all. Even
how much was it? How much was the early version?
Don't worry, it wasn't that bad.
Was it like GTA 6? $100?
No, it was $100 for the Undertaker edition. But I get the season pass, which is $25. I'm like, I was gonna got that anyway, so I only pay $5 more for 7 days early. Whatever, that's fine. But no, the game is excellent. I'm absolutely loving it. And again, this is like me in my sports game era, because I used to, again, I loved college football last year, but it's because I hadn't played college football in 10 years. This one is like, oh, I love wrestling and I love this game, but I haven't played a wrestling game in 3 years. So I think that the trick to enjoying your annualized titles is don't play every year. But obviously a lot of people don't do that. That's fine. The only thing that people get mad about is like the island mode, because basically 2K, if you play NBA 2K, they have like this online bullshit mode where you have to like pay to like be good at the game, and all that is PvP stuff, which I don't care at all about PvP, so it means absolutely nothing to me. And that mode is like, it's fun and silly enough. Like, let me use my VC to go buy Jordans for my wrestler who's wearing a hoodie, whatever, who cares? It doesn't matter. That's actually really cool. Like, they made like a whole fictional place full of wrestling memorabilia stuff, and it's fun to walk around, but I'm not like, oh, they've ruined the game. It's like, I don't have to play this mode if I don't want to. And it doesn't affect anything at all.
Did the edition of the game you got, it came with VC? No?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like a lot?
A good amount. I mean, I haven't used it all yet.
Gotcha. Because I know Snowbike Mike mentioned earlier today on Kind of Funny Games Daily that the version he got came with enough VC that he could have made his guy 99 overall online.
Yeah. And I have the same version
insane.
as he. So, yeah, if I cared that much about... But again, I don't care about PvP, so it means nothing to me at all. But that's cool that, you know, yeah, if you're willing to pony up the extra $30 to play it early, you're fine for that mode. But no, I've enjoyed the hell out of it. I've actually... Here's my problem, Joel, you'll get this. I've never played the My GM mode, which is... I'm a sucker for... I just like managing shit, dude. I get the management simulator games because I'm just like, I want to... It's not even about wrestling. It's about how do you run your show so it's the best show, like statistically the best show. And I'm like, yeah, baby, let me get these numbers up. That's all I care about. I'm fucking weird, but good game. So I'll keep playing that. It's fun. That's it for me, though. Just those two. I literally only played those 2 games for the entire week. I didn't want to touch anything else. So,
Cozy.
Yes.
What is Gears of War Aftermath? I've never heard of that before.
Do we want to start with Judgment and Aftermath, or do we want to start with the appetizer, which is Ghost of Tsushima? Because I think we should talk a little bit about the ghost and the ghost that I'm chasing.
Tell me about the ghosts.
So I said on the last episode of the podcast that I would finally check out Ghost of Tsushima in anticipation of my upcoming trip to Japan. And so far, I am very conflicted. This game is very beautiful. This game is very much that Twitter account where it's like every frame a painting, where you just ride your horse into any environment on the island of Tsushima, and it is absolutely beautiful to behold. And the combat so far, based on the limited abilities that I've unlocked, having completed Act 1 of the game, is very solid. I feel like with these action stealth games, you know, you're typically given a lot of abilities that are thrown your way, and over the course of the game, you tend to kind of just focus in on just a few abilities, whatever is most convenient for you. And so far, I really feel incentivized to use a lot of the abilities that have been given my way. I find it, you know, it's not necessarily the most complex combat system of all time, but I still find it fairly easy to grok and satisfying to, you know, pull off in real time. Where I'm a little bit more mixed on it is the story as it's been presented so far, and some of the kind of characterizations. I don't think that Jin Sakai is like an especially poor character, but I don't know. He lacks some of the sauce, some of the pecorino that I associate with some of my favorite video game characters. I'm using pecorino because sauce, a very Italian thing. Lots of Italians.
I didn't know the language you said
sauce.
it in. That's why I gave you a look, not because of the word. I don't know the word because I don't know the language.
And then pecorino, of course, a type of cheese, very similar to that other cheese, Parmesan, that you grate on top of your sauce. So I'm using them as synonyms. Not totally doing it for me. And the open world aspect of this game, I will say, Adam, you recommended that I progress through a fair bit of the story missions as possible before I attempted the open world. And I did exactly as I was told. I basically got until around where you get the grappling hook. I know that it goes by a different name within the game, but I'm just calling it the grappling hook. And then I explored a little bit of the open world, got some of my abilities up before I attempted the first big siege at the castle. Enjoyed my open world activities fine, but didn't totally stick with me. I still have intentions to see through this game to the end, at least while I still have access to it via my month of PlayStation Plus, but I don't know, I'm a little bit more mixed on it. This is a game that I didn't initially go for back when it came out in 2020 because I was feeling a little bit burnt out on these big open world action games, and I kind of looked at this game and I'm like, this seems like another game that I'll feel very similarly about. I went into it this time with an open mindset. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised by it, and I feel like I'm kind of beginning to feel about it how I feared I would have felt about it back in the day. But that's currently where I'm at right now. I don't want to go too deep, super in depth into my thoughts, because time and time again, we've shown on this podcast that I'll come in with a early impression of a game I'm playing that is very different from how I feel about it by the end. But that's my current update on it so far. So
yeah, while I do agree with Adam,
I'll go ahead, Chad.
Oh, go Adam, go.
No, I was going to say, I'm glad that you listened to what I said, for sure, about waiting to do the open world stuff. I would say, I don't want to carry too much water for it to be like, oh, you got to play the game exactly this way and then it's fun, because that's fucking, the game should just be fun in the first place. I feel the game is not super interesting until you get to the part where he really becomes a ghost, which again is farther along in the main story. So I would say keep doing the main story until he does some like crazy shit that you're like, oh, I was not expecting Jin to do this. I think that's where the game gets fun. Again, you shouldn't have to preface it, oh, this game is good if you get past the first 21 hours. Like, that's a fucking stupid argument. But
that's
if
fair.
you want to enjoy it more, just keep going on the story instead of trying to do. I know it's ridiculous how much open world shit there is before the game gets fun, but I would just say keep doing that.
And I will say a very different kind of game, but I feel the exact same way about Final Fantasy 13, where that game is the definition of this does not get fun until you're many dozens of hours into it. And from that point onward, that game is a lot of fun. So we will see. I intend to fully play this game and report back on how I felt about it.
But yes, Chad was about to say something.
Chad, go for it.
While I agree with Adam, because I myself, when I played this game, got sidetracked by a bunch of shit. I feel like I played like 35 to 40 hours of this thing. And I don't think I hit that point where he becomes the ghost, because that doesn't ring a bell for me. But I just got burnt. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm tired of this game. And
that's the problem. That game is that the bottom half is full of shit to do and the top gets smaller, but they should have reversed that, because the game is only fun till you get to the top half. It's fucking stupid.
Dallas was one of the few people I know who was like banging the drums on this thing, saying it was even better than The Last of Us Part 2. And he's like, some of the side quests and side stories in this affected me more emotionally than The Last of Us Part 2. And I said, you take my wife's name out of your mouth, because you don't get to talk about The Last of Us Part 2 that way, and how dare you. But I never experienced any of that either. So, like, yes, go towards the main quest, because otherwise you'll get burnt out, I assume, like I did. But also, apparently, the side stuff is really, really good. So, like, I guess do it all? I don't know.
I think he's talking about the characters that you hang out with in the game. That shit is really good. But again, you have to get so far into the main quest before that shit opens up.
So after I beat Act 1 of Ghost of Tsushima, I was like, what else can I play before the next episode of the podcast? And I love a little website called howlongtobeat.com. And I was like, I said that I would complete Gears of War Judgment before I go on my trip to Japan. How long does it take to play Gears of War Judgment? 7 hours? All right, we're going to play and beat Gears of War Judgment this weekend. And so, yeah, right now I believe that Joel is showing on screen Gears of War Judgment Aftermath, which is the final campaign that takes place concurrently to the events of Gears of War 3. The base version of Gears of War Judgment, which takes place in the distant past and follows Cole, Baird, and a couple of their companions on a mission during the early days of the war against the Locust, was a really weird time. This is a really weird game for me, because on one hand, you have this very weird narrative conceit where basically Cole, Baird, and his companions are brought on trial, hence Judgment in the game's title, and are basically accused of stealing weapons, doing a whole bunch of things. Chad, you didn't play this game, correct? You didn't get up to here.
No,
Gears of Wednesdays?
This is where Gears of Wednesdays turned into anything but this. I think it's because Joel said, I really don't want to play Judgment. We can skip Judgment. We shouldn't play Judgment.
I do not like Judgment.
So anyway, so they're brought on trial, and they do this sort of interesting thing that a couple of games do, where basically most of the entire game takes place in a flashback in which they're recounting the story of what led up to the events of them being imprisoned. And throughout the flashback, you have the opportunity to slightly tweak the story in interesting ways. You'll come across these gear icons on the walls, and you can basically interact with them and be like, in this particular combat scenario, I want to only have shotguns at my disposal. And then Barrett will be like, you won't believe it, boss. In this particular combat scenario, we didn't have any guns available to us but shotguns. Initially pretty novel, but over time it gets a little bit tired, and ultimately the story doesn't really go in a way that I felt was particularly satisfying. What's frustrating about it is that the story presents itself as, hey, Cole and Baird are accused of stealing military weapons and firing this nuke and such and such and such. And what you expect going into it is it's going to be revealed that there were extenuating circumstances, that, they had to do this because there was some greater cause that they were fighting for, that they were misunderstood. And then the game goes and it's like, oh no, what they are accused of is exactly what they did. They disobeyed orders, they stole a bunch of weapons, and they did all this shit that Yeah, they should probably be tried and shot more. I'm just gonna say it. Sorry, Cole and Barrett. You're cool guys, but
Christ. I do think it's funny that like the 4 main Gears characters all crooks, right? Because think about the beginning of Gears 1, you start Marcus and Dom, they're in jail cells. That's how the game starts. And then now you play Judgment and Barrett and Cole, crooks. Here we are, bunch of crooks.
Oh, come on.
Story isn't great. Here's what I'll say. The kind of gameplay loop of this game is really unique in that basically it's sort of split up into a bunch of these sort of like insular kind of focused rooms where, like I said earlier, at the beginning of them, you can choose to add an extra layer of challenge on top of what it is that you're currently doing. Like you can be like, for this particular room, I only want to attempt it with shotguns. I want there to be a time limit. I want there to be this or that. You have particular rooms where you have to basically set up a bunch of tower defense-esque units and defend a certain spot for a period of time. It's very different from the kind of core gameplay loop of the Gears games. There aren't nearly as many big set piece moments as a result of it taking on this format. But playing through it, I was like, I don't particularly hate this. I think that there's something here that, had it been tweaked ever so slightly, could have been really decent. The thought that kept coming back to my head as I played through this game is there's an alternate timeline where Gears of War Judgment came out 10 years later in like the early 2020s, 2021, 2022. And I feel like People Can Fly, which is the co-developer on this game, could have been like, yo, what if we just turn this into a AAA roguelike game? What if we turned this into the Gears of War equivalent of like The Last of Us No Return? And I feel like they could have had something really interesting because this game has a lot of those roguelike elements of you going into a bunch of rooms, being able to modify your loadout and like the level of challenge in exchange for like stronger rewards, because this game has this like new star reward system where you'll be rewarded more for playing well. This game really had something. Ultimately, I can't rank it too highly against the other Gears, but I didn't hate it as much as I thought it was going to. And that's all I'll say on that. And Joel, you were showing a little footage of it afterwards. I also played through Aftermath, which is a like new little level that takes place after the events of Judgment, that takes place concurrently to some of the events of Gears of War 3. That, on the other hand, is just classic Gears. It's this big set piece where you're trying to get a boat off of a skyscraper. I don't really have too much to say about it, other than that it was a fun little adventure, and I am looking forward much later on to finally checking out Gears of War 4. Now, will some of my friends be willing to join me for Gears of War 4? Will Gears of Wednesdays be revived, or will it remain dead? We shall see.
It is going to remain dead because I also forgot that we're playing Walkabout VR mini golf, y'all. That's our most recent kind of Gears of Wednesdays on Thursday nights game is Walkabout VR. And I don't know if y'all have played this before. It's on PlayStation VR. It's on MetaQuest. It's on, I don't know, probably Steam VR, and it has crossplay, and it's just like all the craziest, silliest, awesomest mini golf courses that you play with your friends. And it is such a good time. We played just me, Joel, and Dallas a couple weeks ago. And then last week, Matt has with the like 4 other citizens of Rhode Island, a mini golf league that like they keep track in a spreadsheet of who wins and all this kind of shit. And I didn't realize it was me, Joel, and then Matt and 3 other people, like his brother or a cousin or something like that. I didn't realize until like maybe halfway through this course that I think we were playing doubles and that our points were being counted. Like Joel's. No.
Okay, no, we were not playing doubles that day.
Oh, thank God. I was so upset because I was like,
as part of the league, they started a doubles tournament, but I couldn't play when they started it. So I was supposed to be partnered with Justin, but then things got all switched around because I couldn't play.
That's what, okay, because Justin kept calling you his partner, and he's just like, yeah, that's my partner over there. Yeah. And I was just like, fuck, who got trapped with me? Because I'm like 16 over par by the end of this thing. It was I feel so bad because I didn't know that I was going to. Somebody has a handicap by playing with me because this is my second time playing it, and they've been playing it like every night for 1,000 years now. Okay, that makes me feel better that no one was like fucking completely tanked because I joined their team. That's good.
And that's all I've been up to.
Dope. Well, that's it for. Well, actually, Joel, what is A? You have A listed here.
Oh, here, I got some stuff.
Oh shit.
Oh, Joel's living the life.
Ooh.
All right. So on Friday, I picked up 2 games. One game is a game called Repo, which has been trending pretty recently on like Twitch and YouTube and TikTok. This is essentially an extraction type game. It's very memeable. It's very funny. I've only played like 2 hours of it, but pretty much you go into somewhere and your objective is you're repossessing things. So you're going into like these haunted areas and you're just taking stuff worth money and extracting it. But the game gets hilarious because like you can, if a monster's coming at you, you can kind of like hide and like kind of blend in by looking like a toy almost on the ground, really small. And you can do text to chat, and when you do that, you just sound like a robot, and it just sounds hilarious. It's like you could type to each other, and it just sounds like a little quiet robot. Yeah, this game's a ton of fun. It's really
I can tell already just from the silent gameplay you're playing right now that it's like
the way
whoever developed this game, the way their heads move, their character design, and apparently this robot voice is like that's the key to making this thing viral and fun and funny.
Yeah, it's really goofy. I was playing with like John Hansen and some of my other friends at the end of last week, and it was a ton of fun. I'll definitely be playing more. It's like it was $10, I think, on Steam.
What's it called again? Repo?
Repo, R-E-P-O. Yeah. I think it's only on Steam, though. I don't think it's on console.
Oh, 0 out of 10.
Yeah, or else I would highly recommend. And then the other game I also picked up Friday, Monster Hunter Wilds. I finally picked it up. I watched a bunch of the Kinda Funny stream when they did like a marathon stream last week, and I really wanted to pick it up then, but I just didn't have anybody to play with. And then I was talking to a friend this past Friday, and he's like, yeah, I'm on the same boat. Like, I want to play, but I have nobody to play with. I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's pick it up. And we both picked it up, and we played the hell out of it this weekend. I think I played probably close to 10 hours of the game. So I've been enjoying it a lot. We found, like, some friends of friends who are super Monster Hunter nerds, and they've just been, like, very welcoming and, like... We've just been chilling in Discord playing this game. They've been answering any questions we have. I was telling Chad last night, I don't think I would be enjoying this game as much as I am if I didn't have this group of people that all knew everything about Monster Hunter. Because when I tell you this game has menus, I would say that's 50% of this game is menus. Like, just because like you hit start, it is overwhelming. Not only can you add friends, Chad, you can add followers, you can follow people. You can see people who are following you. There are squads, which is essentially clans. It's so convoluted the way this menu system works, and I never know where anything is, and I always hit the wrong button, and then it closes me out of the menu completely. I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? Somebody had to have beta tested this thing. Like, somebody had to have given you feedback to say, hey, we probably shouldn't be doing it like this because this makes no goddamn sense.
That's part of what the fans want. Those sickos are like, oh, yeah, give me those nasty-ass menus. Oh, that's part of the love of the game.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it a lot. The gameplay's a ton of fun. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun killing big monsters. Big old monsters. Ton of fun. I don't know. I liked World... Is it Worlds or World? Monster Hunter World? Worlds?
Monster Hunter Worlds. World, actually. No, there's no S. No S.
Yeah. I enjoyed
just
Monster
like
Hunter World.
Indiana Jones in Death Stranding 3.
I enjoyed Monster Hunter World. I played through the campaign, but it was that thing where I ended, had nobody to play with, and was like, well, I'm not going to grind a bunch of endgame content by myself. But now that I actually have people to play with, I'm very excited to get through this story. Story which I do not give a fuck about. I am skipping this story left and right because it just is not... It doesn't have its hooks in me at all. I don't care about this one bit. Like, basically, you're finding... I don't know. You're finding, like, a deserted kind of colony, I guess you could say. You're finding the Outer Wilds, you know?
Or the Outer
Wilds. You're finding the wilds. Yeah. And you're trying to help them become
Hey, there's that sandboat from the movie.
Yeah, that was the sandboat from the movie. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I'm gonna keep playing.
Who was
it
that
for
the little eco kid with the horns? Was that Mila Jovovich as a kid?
Yeah, that's what it says in the credits. That's it. That's all I've been playing.
Dope.
Very cool.
That's it for playtime. Let's move on to segment from Adam. It is segment from Adam. It is segment from Adam. This is from Blue's Clues.
Remember that from the show? Here's what we're doing this week. We're going to play a little quick fun game. I'm going to wait for Joel. I'll explain it, and then Joel to come back because Joel's going to know all of these, and you guys won't. That's what makes it fun. We're playing a game called Gaming This or That. I have a list of 10 names, and they are from one of two video game franchises. But there's a little fun twist on it.
Oh, no.
The two video. So what I'll do is we'll go down our list. You guys will give me your answers. If it's one thing or the other, if you get it correct, you'll get a point. But I'm not going to tell you your points till the end of the game. So it's not going to be, well, I'm one behind, so I got to go opposite. Just, I'm not going to tell you anything until the end of the game. Joel, what I've decided to do this week, this or that, are these characters or whatever, either a wrestler in WWE 2K25 or a character from Lego DC Supervillains. So basically, is it a wrestler or is it a DC character is what I'm doing here. But they were specifically from those video games. I went to those video games rosters and I'm picking names from these two video games specifically. So Joel, I'm going to do these. You're probably going to know all of these, but don't give it away. Don't cheat.
I won't.
All right. Number one on Gaming This or That.
Starting?
Again, tell me. Cozy can go first, and we'll switch back and forth. And I will keep track of who gets correct answers. So number one on Gaming This or That, it's either from WWE 2K25 or Lego DC Super Villains. The first name on the list is Johnny Quick. What is Johnny Quick from, Cozy?
I'm going to say that he is from WWE.
Okay, Chad.
Johnny Quick sounds too much of a knockoff to be an actual DC supervillain. So I'm going to say also WWE.
All right, very good. I have your answers
Keep
recorded.
Keep in mind, there is a character in the Marvel universe, not DC, but in Marvel, called Speed. That is literally what they're called. So we can't be too certain about any
Johnny Storm.
Like that. That's true. Johnny Storm as well.
If only he was in Lego DC Supervillains, and if that was the name that I put on the list. Number two.
And Quicksilver.
Yes, Quicksilver. You didn't see that coming. Number two, L.A. Knight. Chad, you're first.
How is Knight spelled?
With a K.
Ooh, Knight with a K. L.A. Knight. This one. See, you almost tricked me. I thought, you know how they have West Coast Avengers? I thought this was going to be Los Angeles Batman, Dark Knight, but over in LA. But then I remembered, no, DC specifically doesn't have real life American cities in their stuff. So I'm going to go WWE.
Okay. Cozy?
I am going to go DC on this one.
Is there any reason? Did you have a elaborate explanation like Chad, or are you just guessing?
DC's repertoire of superheroes is long and vast. I'm sure at some point they were like, we're going to make a man that's all about the city of Los Angeles, and nobody ever remembers them except for the people that put him in the Lego DC game. So I stand by my choice.
Or say both of these sets of names are absolutely ridiculous and sometimes make no sense at all. That's why they're perfect for this game. But yes, sounds good. All right, next up, number three, Alexa Bliss. Cozy, you're up first.
Oh, I'm going to say WWE.
Yeah, that's a dub-a-dub. That's a dub-a-dub-e. Alexa Bliss.
Is there a reason you think it's a dub-dub? You just copying Cozy.
Just felt the tickle on my pickle.
There's nothing in the name that suggests what kind of superpower she might have. And I know there are a lot of other superheroes that you can point to that as well, but I'm trying to imagine in my head, if she were a superhero, what kind of power she would have. And I'm like, Alexa Bliss, nothing comes to mind. So she is WWE.
Okay. Number four, either WWE or Lego DC Supervillains, Vixen. I believe, Chad, you're first on this.
How many X's are in Vixen? Because then
there's one X in
website.
Vixen.
One X. Okay. Then this is
mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Was Santa's reindeer one of the options?
No.
Damn it. Okay, then we'll go DC supervillain.
This sounds like the kind of thing where this could conceivably be both. I can see Vixen existing in both universes, but if I have to choose one, I'm going to say Lego DC.
Okay. And Cozy, I actually did take that into account. I'm like, somewhere in DC or in the history of WD, these two people could have had the same name. That's why I did these video games specifically and checked the rosters. So there are no repeat names in these video games. There might be in the actual overall, but in these video games, there's not. Next up, number 5, Adam Strange. Cozy, you're first.
You know what? I'm going to say that this is DC. I bet this is one of those situations like how Shazam is technically Captain Marvel, but like he has no association with the Marvel license. I bet this is a similar situation where there is coincidentally a DC character called Adam Strange that has nothing to do with Doctor Strange.
All right, Chad.
How is Adam spelled? ADAM or ATOM?
ADAM. No, it's not ATOM.
Right,
it's
that's a WWE
ADAM.
guy.
Okay.
That's a WWE guy.
Next up, number 6, Big Barda.
How do you spell Barda?
Barda.
Big Barda. Yeah, that helps a lot. Big Barda is... I feel like there's not... Like, Barda isn't a reference to anything real. And so I feel like a DC supervillain would have like a nonsense name that like references something. I don't know, like Mr. Fantastic or Mr. Ketchup. The Condiment King, that's his name, Condiment King. It was like one of those kinds of things where it's like, oh, these are real life, like it sounds goofy, but it's actually referencing. Barda's a nothing. Barda's nothing. So I'm going to say that's probably someone's actual name, and they are large. And that's a WWE man or woman.
I am almost 99% certain that not only is this a DC character, I'm pretty sure she was standing behind Darkseid in the Snyder Cut. I'm pretty sure she's seen an hour 4.5 of that movie in like one of those mini flashbacks.
So you're guessing Lego DC?
DC.
Or are you doing
DC?
Okay. Next up, The Hurricane. Cozy, you're up first. The Hurricane.
WWE. Mark me for WWE.
All right, Chad.
I'm also going to go WWE just because they were probably named the Hurricane because their walkout music they wanted to be Rock Me Like a Hurricane. And so therefore it's WWE.
Okay. Next up, Stardust. Chad, you're first. Stardust.
Stardust is from The Boys.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Damn it, that's Starlight. That's Starlight.
Yeah, that's somebody else.
Stardust is a diner in New York City and also a DC supervillain.
Is that the diner that Mary Jane works at in Spider-Man 1 that Peter comes to like a creep?
I don't think so. Stardust Diner is a real diner in New York City where they sing a bunch. And they have mediocre food.
Gotcha. Cozy. Stardust.
Can I get a spell check on Stardust? Is it spelled exactly as I would expect?
Yeah, Stardust.
Okay,
no
see,
space
here's the
or
thing.
Space?
Here's the thing.
No space.
Okay.
Stephanie Sterling, who does the show that you may be familiar with called Jimquisition, I believe wrestled in the past under the name Stardust. Not Stardust, but Ster, because her last name is Sterling.
Like sterling silver, like the dust from making jewelry.
It's not Stardust, so it's not her. It's not.
I don't believe that Stephanie Sterling would be in this game in any case, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to say DC.
Okay, we have 2 left. Number 9, Maxine Dupree.
How many X's in Maxine?
2 X's in Maxine.
Oh,
Cozy, you're up
yeah,
first.
that's a sexy Maxine.
You know what? I'm going to say DC again. This is one of those supervillains that like is not out there like unleashing beams of energy on the heroes. She's like in the background, like brokering deals, getting all the informations, doing that kind of shady shit. DC.
Okay, Chad. You were
What's the name again? Maxine? Maxine what?
Maxine Dupree with 2 X's.
Maxine Dupree. I'm gonna say Maxine Dupree, someone who's a big Paul Rudd fan and loves the movie You, Me, and Dupree, right? That's the Paul Rudd. No, I'm thinking of My Idiot Brother. Who's in You, Me, and Dupree? Is it Maxine Dupree? It's a person on WWE. I think
it's Owen Wilson is in that.
Is it Owen Wilson? That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's Owen Wilson. But you were saying this is which one?
This is a wrestler who was really into that movie and wanted to make a sexy Maxine themed around a character in You, Me, and Dupree.
Okay.
It's like when people on Halloween are like, I'm going to go as a sexy bunny. And they're like, I'm going to make a sexy Dupree out of the You, Me, and Dupree by calling it Maxine.
That's what
with two X's.
In 2025, people are making sexy cosplays of Me, You, and Dupree.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Our last one. Roman Reigns.
Is it me or is it Cozy first? I can't remember. It's me, right?
Chad, you're first.
Roman Reigns. Ask for a spell check because, I don't want to give anything away.
How do we spell it?
ROMAN space REIGNS.
Oh. See, at first I was like Reigns is in like rains it pours, and then I was like, oh no, as he's spelling it, this is Reigns like on a horse, and then you threw that G in there. I said, oh no, this is like King Roman Reigns over all the peons, and this doesn't definitively lean one way or the other because he is both a DC fanboy and a wrestling superstar. So, but I'm pretty sure I've heard Roman Reigns out of Greg Miller's mouth. And I'm leaning WWE because
if only Greg didn't like wrestling in DC, you're right.
I know, if he wasn't like the biggest fan of both of those things and talk about both of those things all the time. But I think I'm going to go dub.
I'm going to go WWE as well.
All right, very good. I have the answers recorded. Joel, how well do you think you did?
Is it close?
I'm going to count them up in a second. It's relatively close. Joel, did you nail it? Did you get them all?
Yeah, for the most part. Okay, I have one pulled up. If the score's close, I have a tiebreaker.
Oh, I like that. We'll see. All right, we'll go back to the top of the list. Number 1 was Johnny Quick. Johnny Quick is a DC character. He's just like a dude. He's one of the Flash. He's one of the Flash fucking 800 Flash character kids or whatever it is. Johnny Quick. Yes, he's fast because he's the Flash. Next up, L.A. Knight is a wrestler. Chad, congratulations. You got a point for that.
Yeah.
That's what he says too. He goes, L.A. Knight. Yeah. That's his thing. It's great.
Yeah.
Next up, Alexa Bliss is a wrestler. You guys both got that one correct. So 2 for Chad, 1 for Cozy. Number 4, Vixen is from Lego DC Supervillain. She's like a cat sort of acrobat. She wears a cat outfit. But she's just like a lady who beats people up. So Chad, that's another one for you. Adam Strange was next, and it is from Lego DC Supervillains. Cozy got that one correct. I don't think he does magic. I think he's just a guy who has like shoots blasts out of his arms or some shit.
And
Big Barda was next, and yes, Cozy. Yeah, well, I guess you're right. It's a kind of magic. Big Barda is Darkseid's like lady friend or whatever. So yeah, Big Barda is from DC. The Hurricane is from WWE. There he is. So, I mean, he was supposed to be a superhero was his whole gimmick, right? The fun thing about this guy is he was a cruiserweight, which means he was really like small compared to most wrestlers. I think he was like 200 pounds. But his finishing move was a choke slam, which is what The Undertaker did. So he did a finishing move that big dudes do, but he was a little guy. So it was really fun.
What was his walk-out music? Was it like
there's a hurricane coming through. That was it.
See? Joel knows it. Next up is Stardust. You guys both guessed wrong. Stardust is WWE. He's technically Cody Rhodes' old character. So the guy who currently now holds the championship, 8 years ago, he was a guy named Stardust, and then he left the company, and then he came back, and they let him do whatever he wants to do. You got a picture of Stardust? Okay, pull it up for you, Joel. It's crazy that they made him do this for so long.
Oh, hold on.
If Cody Rhodes won any championships, does that roll over to Stardust? Or
no, Stardust technically is a different person.
Okay.
Well, that's the Hurricane.
You guys
yes.
Whoa, twins.
Amazing.
That's Stardust. Yeah.
Whoa, he looks like a Rockstar Energy drink.
And Gold Dust.
And Gold Dust. But click on the other one over here that has normal Cody Rhodes in it. The one right down in there. See, yeah, the guy on the right. He was actually on the cover of last year's game, and he's the current champion. So Cody Rhodes. Here's a little history. Cody Rhodes left WWE, started another wrestling promotion that's like the biggest competition to WWE, and then left that to come back to WWE and win the championship. So it's pretty cool. Anyways,
wow.
Number 9 was Maxine Dupree, who is a wrestler, not based on me, you, and Dupree, but she is a wrestler. And then you guys were both correct. The last one, Roman Reigns, is a wrestler. He's like the biggest wrestler in the world, basically. That's probably why you knew the name. Well, because Greg Miller mentioned it. So the scores are, Chad's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Cozy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Chad, you know more about DC and wrestling than Cozy. Neither one of you know that much. But you guessed pretty good. Fan. There you go. What was your tiebreaker, Joel?
It wasn't really a tiebreaker. I was just going to give them a chance to change their answer by showing them a picture of the hurricane.
You're like, what is this guy? You figure it out? Very good. But good game,
picture
guys.
Picture the hurricane. Like, is this a DC villain or is this a WWE person?
Exactly.
Like, to be honest, I can't tell.
I don't know.
Yeah, because it's could be either one.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Dope. Now it's time for Game On Game Show. The Game On Our Game Show. Play a game called Game On, the Gaming Show on our Game Show. Game. Honor Roll is back. Go, Cozy.
Yes, it is the return of Console Honor Roll, and today we are going over the top 10 best-selling games from ye old Nintendo Entertainment System, also known as the NES, also known as the Famicom in Japan. Now, like last time...
Speaking of, actually, does this is like the US sales numbers, like Circana, whatever, or does this include Japan, like Famicom games?
So, like last time, I wasn't able to get any NPD/Circana sales figures because NPD/Circana didn't exist for much of the NES's life cycle. So I had to kind of go and do my research. In the end, I decided to go with Wikipedia again. Wikipedia, not usually the most trustworthy source for completely factual information. However, the Wikipedia list of the 10 best-selling games on the platform seemed like it collated the most accurate sources from across the web of any source that I consulted, and so I decided to go with it. So understand that the list that we're going to be going off of today isn't necessarily the most accurate list in existence, but if we were to somehow find a list that was 100% accurate, this ranking would not be too far off, I believe. At the very least, there wasn't as much differentiation between the lists I found online than there was when I was going through the Atari thing. So with that out of the way, like last time, I will be reading off 4 clues per game on the list. Everyone has 2 guesses per game. The fewer clues that I have revealed, the more points you shall receive. And I will let you know how many points you receive. Each contestant also has a lock that they can declare once per game that includes Adam. So, Adam, you can Adam lock if you feel so inclined. Are we ready?
Can I force Adam to Adam lock it if I say Adam lock?
No, I will recognize who said it, and I will prevent that from happening. All right.
What's your best Adam voice?
Do it, Chad.
Adam lock.
Yeah, that's what I sound like. Exactly. Yeah.
Number 10.
Chad lock.
The 10th best-selling game on the NES was developed by Nintendo, but it is not an action or a platforming game.
Tetris.
That is incorrect. Clue number 2. Its name is a single word that describes the activity you do in this game.
Adventure.
It is not Punch Out either. I think that's all of Chad's guesses, which means, Adam, only you can answer from here on out.
I forgot. God damn it. Okay, yeah.
Clue number 3. Mario and his friends have on various occasions taken part in this game's activity. And clue number 4.
Porn.
It can't be porn because it begins with a G, not a P.
Golf.
It is golf. Congratulations, Adam.
My thing was like it's either tennis or golf, and I don't want a chance losing it, so I'm just like gonna
give
wait
yourself
for the last clue.
1 point for that.
I got it. Golf. I actually played this game as a kid. I remember this shit.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about this game is like Shigeru Miyamoto and like all the like classic Nintendo developers developed this golf game. that nowadays looks, kind of rinky dinky, but like back in the day was like kind of a big deal.
That golfer in the gameplay looks like if they this is their 1080p high definition version of Mario on an NES.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that
look realistic.
Within Nintendo's canon, he's called like OG-san. Like he just has like the Japanese name for like an old guy. It's like, oh, it's OG-san playing golf again.
That old fuck.
Yeah. Number 9. The 9th best-selling game on the NES is the first game in a lesser-known Nintendo franchise. Clue number 2. It's a game that features side-scrolling, but it's not a platforming game. Clue number 3. It's a game in which you drive around in a certain type of vehicle. And clue number 4. The name of this game is a word that begins with the letter E, followed by the vehicle. It is indeed Excite Bike. You can give yourself another single point for that one. What's funny about this game is that there has never been like an Excite Bike 2, but there have been other games that are like the name of the vehicle followed or rather preceded by the word Excite.
Isn't there one on N64? Am I crazy?
Right. So there was one on N64. No, oh, you're right. So there was an Excite Bike 64. There was never an Excite Bike 2, but there was an Excite Bike.
They skipped 2 through
63.
Exactly. And then on the Wii, there was Excite Truck, which was a launch game on the Wii. And then you also had Excite Bots Trick Racing on the Wii as well.
How exciting can a truck really be,
I remember that game being okay. I haven't really played it, though. Number 8, the 8th best-selling game on the NES is a game with a mixed reputation. Clue number 2. This game is an early example of a game that features RPG elements, but is not predominantly an RPG. Clue number 3. It's a game that we played as a barf game in the past.
Zelda 2.
It is Zelda 2. You can give yourself 2 points for that.
Son of a bitch.
God, what a bad game. Holy hell.
A game that I have a lot of fondness for, but I will acknowledge the fact that this is one of those games where I've just played a lot, and so I've just gotten good at it over the years. If you're playing this for the first time, it is insanely difficult and not very fun.
I don't know how kids ever figured it out. Fucking Axemen.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. All right, number 7. The 7th best-selling game on the NES is a game that was developed and released concurrently on both the NES and Game Boy. Clue number 2. The villains of this game are 3 small, multicolored monsters. Clue number 3. This game, in terms of genre, it is not Picross.
What I meant to say. That's fuck.
That is a Nintendo puzzle game. But yes, I just revealed clue number 3 that this is, in terms of genre, a puzzle game.
Puyo Puyo.
It is not Puyo Puyo either.
Fuck.
Oh, hold on. Don't give me another one because I might.
Okay.
So, what were the first 3 again? Because I might need the last one. But
developed and released concurrently on the NES and original Game Boy.
Okay.
The villains of this game are 3 small, multicolored monsters, and it's a puzzle game.
It's probably not right.
I fucking know this. God damn it. I know
Well, in that case, we'll move on to clue number 4. Logic dictates that you would be able to repel this game with an apple.
Oh, Dr. Mario.
It is Dr. Mario. You can give yourself 1 point for that one.
It's a Puyo Puyo ripoff.
I mean, no, I don't disagree with that. Pretty fun, though. All right. Moving on to number 6. The 6th best-selling game on the NES was the first home console game in all of America to include an internal battery for saving game data. Clue number 2. Beating this game unlocks a second quest that remixes.
Legend of Zelda 1.
It is Zelda 1. You can give yourself 3 points for that one.
It had a battery in it?
Yes, it was like a lot of other games up until this point in time didn't really have like a save system. At this one, you could save your data and it would still be retained without you having to enter in like a code, for example.
Yeah.
You think about something like Metroid, for example, and you had to enter in a code if you wanted to continue your progress. Moving on to number 5. The 5th best-selling game on the NES takes place in a dream world. Clue number 2. The final
Kirby's
boss.
Dream Land.
It is not Kirby's Dream Land. That is an NES game that, to my knowledge, did sell decently, but it is not Kirby's Dream Land. Clue number 2. The final boss of this game is a villainous frog called Wart.
Shadlock.
All right. Do you want
Hold on. No,
Okay.
don't give me another clue. I feel like I know the franchise that this belongs to. Fuck, give me one more clue.
So I'll repeat that this game takes place in a dream world, and it stars a villainous frog called Wart as the final boss. And if you want another clue, I will say, clue number 3, it's basically an elaborate reskin of a Japanese game called Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah. Super Mario Bros. 2.
It is Super Mario Bros. 2, also known, so originally known as Doki Doki Panic. They reskinned it as Super Mario Bros. 2, and then they later re-released the game in Japan as Super Mario Bros. USA. And it continued to sell very well under that
Those
name
cheeky
as well.
little fucks, they just sold them the same game again.
I know, right?
Pretty much.
Was it 2 points for Chad?
That is 2 points for Chad, correct.
Okay.
And moving on to number 4. The 4th best-selling game on the NES is one of 2 versions of this game that released on the NES. So you got 2 different games bumming around on the NES with this exact name. Adam
you have
locked
to wait
in.
till the second clue for an Adam lock.
He can... in this
That's
new
fine. Give me
That
the
has
second
been
clue
the way
and
chat
I'll do
locked
it.
work in the past.
Whoa, this is different.
That's how it worked in the past. I will say right here, right now, on Console Honor Roll, you don't have to wait until any particular clue.
Okay.
You can lock in at any point. Do you want to do your guess
Give me
now,
a
or do you
second
want
clue
to?
because I have an idea, but I need another clue. Yes.
Clue number 2. It's an early entry in a long-running franchise not created by Nintendo. Clue number 3. A much more famous and well-regarded version of this game was released at the same time on the Game Boy. And
Tetris.
it is indeed Tetris. I will give you 2 points for that.
Yeah.
Clue number 4, that this was, of course, originally conceived by Alexei Pajitnov in Russia. The other version of Tetris was created by Atari. They used a label during those days called Tengen. And there are a lot of people that basically swear by the Tengen version of Tetris and say that it's the better version of the game on the platform.
But
Atari,
dancing fuckers.
yeah, Atari did not have the rights to Tetris because Nintendo got the exclusive rights to it. And so they had to remove Tengen Tetris from stores. And nowadays, getting an old cartridge of this other version of Tetris is actually pretty hard to come by.
I've only played the Game Boy version. I didn't have those little dancing guys in my version.
Yeah, same. There's a really great Apple TV Plus movie called Tetris about getting the rights to that on Game Boy that is fascinating.
And now moving on to number 3. We're getting into the top 3 here. The 3rd best-selling game on the NES is a game that released in North America in 1990. Clue number 2.
I was born.
It was featured in the final act of the 1989 movie
Super Mario Bros. 3.
Super Mario Bros. 3.
It is Super Mario Bros. 3. Chad, I will give you 3 points for that one.
Well, I literally said 3 before Chad.
No,
Chad
I finished mine and I took a breath and then you said it.
Yeah, Chad said it way before you.
All right. Lag. We got lag going on here.
Number 2. The second best-selling game on the NES was a launch game for the NES in North America.
Super Mario Bros.
That is incorrect. Clue number 2. It is one of the most popular Nintendo games to never get a direct sequel. Clue number 3. This game is one of the few games on the NES that you play using a plastic peripheral. It is Duck Hunt. Give yourself 2 points. Yeah, this game, so a little bit of context. This game was a launch game for the NES in North America. You could buy it just as is, as like a single cartridge, but it did later on become a pack game. There were a lot of NES bundles that had this game pre-included in, which is definitely one of the reasons why its numbers are pretty jacked up. Because I don't know that like people absolutely were like loving this game and buying it in droves, but if it was included in the console, that was going to bump up its numbers.
I had 3 copies of the double pack, or the double cartridge that this was on, so yeah.
And with that,
Super Mario
we've
Brothers.
arrived at number 1. It is indeed Super Mario Brothers. I will give you 5 points for that one. I should probably do something. In the past, when we did TMI with NPD, I would insert like a little sub game when we do Call of Duty, because Call of Duty would always like cap off those lists. I feel like I should probably start doing something similar for this segment, considering that the number 1 is kind of obvious.
What's the rule for this game, console honor roll, for how early we can say the game? Like if Adam says Duck Hunt for number 2 and I know number 1's going to be Mario Bros, can I just immediately say Mario Bros right after him and that counts towards the next one? Or do we have to wait for you to say
I'm going to say
next on
number
console
1 game?
That the
well,
earliest...
He didn't say number 1 before you said Super Mario Bros.
I'm going to say that the earliest that you can say the name of the game is after I say number blank. So you have to wait for me to say...
That didn't happen this time.
Okay.
So I'm going
You know what,
full.
Chad, I'll take away my 5 points. Oh, I still beat you.
Excellent.
I was going to
give me the 5 points afterwards.
I was going to say, Chad, I'll give you 6 points. Oh, looks like Adam's still the winner.
Oh, you still lost. It's crazy.
And that's that for the list. Just a real quick, a couple of other fun highlights from the rest of the list. At the number 11 spot, just skirting on the outsides of the top 10, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Fucking love that game.
Platforming game from Konami. A game that's very... I know there are a lot of people that really love that game, have a lot of nostalgia for it. It's also one of those games where a lot of people are like, oh, that game's really, really tough. I've never played it myself, so I won't offer up an opinion either way. At number 17, Punch Out! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Where's Mike Tyson in that?
I'm pretty sure that they just count both the core, original version and the Mr. Dream version. And
by the way, the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection is free with PlayStation Plus, essentials this month. So if you want to play that TMNT NES game.
And number 18 on the list, Metroid. And that is that.
Metroid. That's it for Game On Game Show, and that is it for episode 387 of Respawn Aim Fire. You've got homework. Your homework is go giggle and watch Rafter Dark. Oh, how do you get access to Rafter Dark, you ask? Oh my gosh, you can go to patreon.com/RespawnAimFire and you can access Rafter Dark 30 days prior to everybody else who just wants to keep milking us. Just milk us till we got no milk left out of our little squirmy udders. So you can go and do that. You get access to right now to Rafter Dark 2, talking about how Joel discovers that he is a wedding addict. And what else? And we talk about poppers. And just the best fucking guess in the world at what poppers could be without any context given. So go ahead and spoilers there in the video version. Go ahead and go to patreon.com/RespawnAimFire. Give us $1 and you get access to that before everyone else does. And by the way, if you're not a patron and you just love fucking milking us, you can watch the first Rafter Dark, which is all about what's your movie habit. Right? What's your movie ritual or whatever it was? That was the prompt.
Going to the
Turns
movies.
out Cozy's dad is a nightmare apparently. So go check that one out too. That one's free for
He's a
everybody
nice
out
man.
on YouTube and podcast.
He's a nice man, but in some situations he can be a little bit tough. And
If
that's
he
all I'll
ever
say.
invites you to a movie in some man's living room, say no. Say no. Also on Patreon, you all voted, and it was worthless because you all tied for the same games. So we're going to do Crisis is our barf game backlog accomplishment with Respawn and Friends. Play Crisis this month. I think the playtime is like 7 hours or something like that. So it's a easily achievable game. It is accessible on Game Pass for the 360 version. The remaster's on sale on PSN for $7.50. It's, I don't know, they're probably paying you to take it on Steam. So go and play Crisis, and we'll talk about it at the end of the month. If you want to come on the show and talk about Crisis, do it. You coward. Fucking bet you won't. And that's it. We don't have anything. We don't. Woo, we don't have anything else to promote, right? Adam, you got any like fun podcasts you've been a part of recently you want to promote, or Cozy, you got anything
I can
you
talk
want
about
to talk about?
next week. I'll have a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing right now. Nothing right now.
Cozy's going to Japan, so maybe send him some things in Japanese on Blue Sky and see if he can translate them for you. That's actually a really fun game. And then to see Cozy read these things out loud and like translate them live, and then see what people were writing in these messages. Maybe that's After Dark 3. Who knows? Joel, you got anything you want to promote? Anything you want to?
I want to promote this little baby. This little baby.
Oh, it's
remote
fucking
control.
great. Oh,
I
mine's
love
my
it.
bedroom.
Aw.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Look at the little babby.
Correct. I do also want to promote that we're going to try and live stream the Nintendo Switch 2 thing while Cozy's in Japan.
Oh, fuck, that's right. April 2nd. What is it, like 6 a.m. my time again?
Yeah, I'm going to
6 a.m.
try.
your time, 8 a.m.
I'm
my
still
time.
working things out. But I want to try to live react to you guys even when I'm in Japan. So potentially look forward to that.
If you can, Cozy, I will run OBS and stuff on my end. That way you just have to join the call. We'll figure it out.
Dope. Put that in your calendars. April 2nd, 6 a.m. I'm getting tired just thinking about it. All right, folks, that's it. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. Until next time, here's our usual sign-off. Milk me. Milk.